Gentlemen and ladies, welcome back to the Trent and Zyori podcast. This is episode number 146. It is May 20th, 2019, bright and early. Back-to-back Monday morning podcasts. Last one, we did a special edition. The second half was all catered around Game of Thrones talk. The finale was last night, less than 12 hours ago, and we are here ready to digest, dissect, discuss everything. All of the emotions are coming out. This whole episode is dedicated to Game of Thrones. Not much happening in the Dota space. The major qualifiers just ended. The minor qualifiers just getting started. We're going to loop back into that next week or the week after when we get this next podcast rolling. But Trent, how are you? How you doing? Another week on the calendar here.
Yes, another week, and as you said, getting the major minor qual is still happening. So of course, we're gonna hold off on that. And so, if you are not prepared for Game of Thrones, this is not the podcast for you. Not this week. Now, maybe we'll have a quicker one to make up for it.
Yes.
For Dota, I think we'll probably have one. I'm assuming just straight up next week. Why not? But
yeah.
So, what was our conclusion at the end of our previous Game of Thrones thing?
Pretty negative. I think we were both pretty frustrated with episode 5. I think we might have argued that it was not the worst episode of the entire season, but still pretty bad. The lack of decision-making, the lack of forethought from basically every single character. We were both stunned that Cersei didn't have any kind of a plan, aside from Euron being a crack shot and just sniping another dragon.
Put my faith in Euron. That seems like Cersei's idea.
I think we were disappointed in the Jaime Lannister arc. That was one of our big divergence. Is Jaime going to redeem himself by killing Cersei, or is he going to fall into the predictable trap of loving her longingly? And, of course, it was the latter. He loved her longingly, and then they got killed by rubble. As Mott said yesterday, remember that time one of the most badass evil characters in the show died to a rock slide? I do. Jesus Christ, dude. I mean,
did you like how they had them in the womb? They were lying like they were in the womb as twins.
Oh,
you notice that in the rocks? I was like, wow, now's the time we go for symbolism, eh? We're gonna get some cool shit now.
I did feel like that scene was a little long. I mean, that has been.
It felt forced to be like, look, they're twinsies.
Exactly.
At least that's what I took from it.
Like, I think my takeaway from this entire season has been rushed, but also slow. And I've really never encountered a show that feels that way, where, like, you're skipping over all the development. You've got these hour-and-a-half long episodes that are basically movies, yet you still feel like, why did that scene take 5 minutes?
It's exactly, you know what that was for this episode? It was where Tyrion and Jon are talking in the prison cell, and you could just be like, all right, guys, I'm 30 minutes in right now. What's going on?
Yep.
You wrap this shit up.
Dude, that is exactly what I thought. And I actually thought
was my emotions.
That exchange was pretty decent. I didn't mind that Jon, Tyrion, they're like finally having it out. They're having that real conversation, but it seemed like they were talking as slowly as possible. Tyrion, I just don't know what's right anymore. Jon, you've always known what's right. Like, Jesus Christ, guys, just speed it up a little bit. The world's ending. Come on, we got a crisis here.
We used to like that. That used to be that was the big complaint. So I think maybe the problem was that it's just like the problem was I knew I only had so much time left.
Yeah,
if
in
I
the
had two
final
seasons
episode,
left, that conversation's fine.
You're right. And maybe we took it for granted before, but it feels like this force, like it reminds me of what Kevin Smith said about like Clerks 2 or whatever really shitty movie he made, or he's like, this was Kevin Smith trying to do a Kevin Smith movie instead of me just doing a movie. You know, it was like I was trying to copy myself for something that already worked, and the end result was this weird amalgamation of like, it's sort of an homage to Kevin Smith, but it's not a new creation from Kevin Smith. That's what this reminds me of. You know, they're trying to like copy the old style, but you're filling it in with shittier vocabulary and less interesting dialogue. I mean, it's interesting because we're at the pinnacle of the fucking show, but you know what I mean.
So, how did it set? Well, first off, am I crazy or were the green screens just awful this episode? What happened there?
Dude, it's funny you say that because that one scene of Daenerys standing in front of, like, I don't remember what it was, like the dragon background, I said out loud while we were watching it live, nice green screen, dude. What the fuck?
No, it's when Jon walks up the stairs.
That too.
It looked like something we would have made if we were trying to make, like, slacks walking up a staircase or
Yeah.
something with an army behind him.
I don't know, dude. I mean, I will say it is really hard to get the lighting from like 98% to 100% on those
come
kind of
on.
green screen things, but I
Yeah,
couldn't
but
believe it either.
come on, this is fucking HBO.
I know. I couldn't believe it either. Did you see on the top of Free Folk there was a glimpse of a water bottle under Sam's leg at the meeting? They're like, oh, they did it again, guys. That one made me laugh so fucking hard. Like, Jesus Christ, they really did rush this entire season. It wasn't a one-off.
I'm really curious what that documentary is going to look like with that kind of stuff. Because they're trying to, they showed little snippets of it, of like, the production, and they're trying to make it sound like they all killed themselves doing the show. That was what all the tidbits were like. It's like, I haven't slept. And then it's like, yeah, we've been doing night shoots, and I put everything I have into the show. And it's like, well, shit, guys, but like, come on. This is what you came up with?
Yeah. So, all right, moving along. Mid part of the episode, where were we after the big? Did you notice that one longing shot before the Tyrion Jon conversation? By the way, where Tyrion's laying on his side and he's just staring into the camera for like literally 20 seconds. It's just like,
oh, that's the one after he kills Dany, isn't it?
Is it?
I think.
Oh yeah, you might be right. It might be after.
Yeah.
But he's just laying there, longingly staring directly into the lens. It's just like, what were his directions for that
was
scene?
The emotion for most characters this entire season. There was a lot of camera staring.
Just like unbelievable. And this time it wasn't even like gazing off into the great beyond. It's like, all right, Tyrion, we're going to need you to look right into the lens. Now you're going to feel unnatural, but we're going to need you to hold it. I want you to picture a dead kitten, a kitten that just died, and you're sad, but you didn't know the kitten, so you're not crying, but just stare. Like, fuck me, man.
That was a very odd transition. Can we, I guess, after Tyrion throws the pin, the start of the episode was kind of odd. First off, what happened to the horse? Why was Arya just walking in the town now?
That's it. That was the whole thing. We wasted 15 minutes at the end of the second to last episode before the finale. She spends all this time cuddling with this horse. She has a Steve Irwin moment. She bonds with it. She melds with it. She rides it off and says, all right, thanks, mate. Fuck off now. And that's it.
The next episode, she's just walking.
I don't know. I don't get it. And it's like, it feels nitpicky, but at the same time, it's like, just have a little continuity. Like, Jesus Christ. The teleporting was on point this episode. Everyone's just, as soon as we saw Tyrion starting to climb that rock pile, we were like, oh, this is going to take a while. Nope. Immediate. Oh, look, here it is. Then Mock goes, well, I guess he is small, so he can fit through a tiny hole. Like, dude. Yeah, you're right. I actually didn't hate the beginning, though. The big turn, I guess, kind of the climax of the episode, the peak. Jon betrays Dany, of course.
Yep.
The big spoiler. But not really that surprising. I think pretty much all of us were expecting either Dany or Jon or both to die, but 100% Dany. There was...
I was pretty disappointed they couldn't block the episode that he killed her with Mormont's sword. Like, I was kind of picturing, like, she turns around to walk towards the throne, explaining to him all that they're going to do, and then you just see the big blade come through from her backside. Because, like, Jon Snow's not really a dagger kind of guy.
Yeah,
and
you're not
it
wrong.
It would have been so poetic with Mormont's sword, but I can also see how 1v1, giant blading someone on the back is a little weird.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of the story.
Is there any significance to the blade that he used to kill her? I couldn't
notice one. Someone can correct me, but it just looked like a pretty standard soldier dagger to me.
Yeah, I didn't catch anything specific there either. I'm not going to lie, I kept having flashbacks to like other sci-fi stuff, and I don't know if that's just my weird bias, but like as Jon was walking up the stairs to have that conversation, I fucking saw the Frozen Throne, dude. I saw Arthas all the way. Dany with the white hair. I mean, obviously she's female, but dude, I was just thinking this is fucking out of the Warcraft 3 Frozen Throne playbook. I've seen this. I've played it. What am I watching right now? Then they're talking. All I could see was Star Wars Episode 2. I'm like, dude, this is Anakin and Padme all over again. Oh, yeah. But I love you. The sounds of the sand make me remember what your voice like. I was so worried that was going to devolve into some shitty love scene. I was so relieved when he fucking killed her. I was like, dude, this is Anakin and Padme done right,
I mean, it would have been a twist if he didn't kill her, honestly. I would have been shocked if he actually went along with it and just became,
I was getting worried.
That I would have been kind of all right with that in some sense, but yeah. When she said we're gonna free everyone from Winterfell to Dorne, I was like, uh-oh, Winterfell. Where was the reaction shot of John when she? I guess she can't understand, eh? Is that what we're supposed to
I
take from that? Is
mean,
that John can't understand her pointing out that they're about to go to Winterfell with her giant army?
I don't know. Maybe it's supposed to be like he's just on this, like he's just frazzled. You know, he's kind of like the equivalent. I like the imagery they used where we saw Dany, was it in the last episode, look really like tired and kind of
Yes.
Mad King-esque. John looked a little bit like that at the beginning of this episode. Like he hadn't slept at all. He had that scraggly beard and shit. Or I guess he looked like that after he killed Dany. You know, like he had that same kind of
Dude,
feel.
he was like a real haggard after that.
I liked it though. I think that played a little bit on that. Like he's got a little Targaryen in him. You know, like he's still Jon Snow. He's still so fucking noble. He does what's right, but at the same time, he's tortured, man. He's got that duality that they've been building up that whole time.
All right, well, let's discuss those. So when she gets stabbed and it's like 30 some minutes in, maybe actually how long into the episode was it here? It was 35 minutes into the episode. He stabs her.
Okay.
I was a little surprised, I have to say. Something in me was just like, not the fact that he stabbed her, but I was like, there's still a lot of time left here, guys.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, they're gonna make some epic like Jon Snow escape scene or something, or like, wow, are we gonna fill this out?
Well,
And the screen goes black.
Well, that was what I wondered what the dragon was what was going to do. I want to hone in on Drogon a little bit because this whole him melting the throne thing really threw me off. I did not get that. I thought he was going to kill Jon, and I thought my prediction of Jon and Dany are both somehow going to die. They're either going to kill each other, or one's going to kill the other, then commit suicide because they feel so bad about it, or the dragon's going to eat them both. Who fucking knows? I thought maybe Jon takes over the dragon and somehow turns it on her. I had no idea. Instead, the dragon fakes him out and then turns and melts the throne. So I guess from this, we're supposed to deduce that the dragon is actually smarter than we've given him credit for. And he understands,
supposedly, yes.
yeah, that the throne was really the thing that caused his mother to be so crazy. So he's poetically achieving her goal of breaking the wheel by melting the throne so that they have to find a new, quote, political system to govern the people. And then he just fucks off.
Such a reach, though.
Like, I don't know about that shit.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I've read the same kind of stuff, people saying that, and I get it. It's like, you know, dragons are smarter than humans, supposedly, but it's just like, okay. I don't know. It seems like that's not really Drogon's place in the show.
I liked the meme picture where it's two pictures, and one of Dany with the dagger, and Drogon goes, pointy thing, and then looks over at the throne and goes, more pointy things! I think that's more accurate. Like, yeah, dragons are pretty smart. They have this weird sense, and they can kind of, like, communicate, like, without talking, right? Like, they have this weird special connection with Dany, but at the same time, we're talking like levels of deductive reasoning. If the dragon was that fucking smart, I feel like it would have done a lot more to prevent all this from happening. If the dragon was that smart, why was it just slaughtering peasants for no reason? You know, like you can't have it both ways, in my opinion. It's I agree with you. I don't think that was the place that they had set Drogon up to fulfill. That just seemed like well, let's just drop this really dank reveal that the dragon's way smarter than we thought. Cool.
It's been so long in the show, though. It's been like so many years, and I don't remember how smart dragons are supposed to be in the show versus what they've said about, like, you know, other people are listening to these like, well, in the book they say the dragons are smart, and I'm like, well, I didn't read the books, and I don't remember how smart the dragon's supposed to be in the show at this point. It's been so damn long. But
smart is not binary, right? I mean, it is a spectrum, and you could say as far as animals go, dragons are pretty smart. You know, compared to pigs, dragons are real fucking smart. Now, compared to Tyrion Lannister, I don't know if this guy's like connecting the dots on conspiracy theories with people fighting for the throne. I actually thought Jon was just going to hop aboard and fly away and be like, all right, I got myself a fucking dragon now, bitch. What's up?
I see ya.
Like, I actually kind of hated that they left Drogon fucking ambiguous. He just flies away, and that's it. You know, you don't know what happened. Like, they just don't even acknowledge it, except Bran says, I might try to look for him. Don't worry about it.
God.
I'm awesome.
We'll get to that later.
But that's it. That's the closure we get with the dragon is Bran saying, I think I might go look for him. I don't really know.
And Bran cutting off Sam. Yeah, the further away, the better. As Sam's like trying to explain something. Like, clearly that dragon's coming back somewhere.
Dude, how could it not? How can the fucking dragon, if it's actually that smart and it melted the throne to start a new political system, obviously this bitch has a card in the fucking political race. You're acting like he's not running in 2024. Are you fucking kidding me? This is AOC, baby. He's setting up for a run.
I'll take him.
And what's he doing with the body? That's what I want to know. What's happening?
How did we not get a final scene of Bran warged into a crow, seeing what Drogon did with the body? That really, I was very disappointed.
Exactly. They had
and
the
he's
setup.
even like, perhaps I can find him. Then
yeah, maybe
nothing.
Bran. Perhaps you
He
could
just
stop
fucking
talking like a fucking
ditches the
Yoda
first
wannabe.
meeting of his council.
So, all right, enough about the dragon.
Fade to black. Dragon melts the throne. Fade to black. And we have what has got to be one of the strangest scenes in the entirety of Game of Thrones, at least in my opinion. I did not understand this at all. So Tyrion is dragged out to the little Coliseum, whatever you want to call that thing, where a couple. That's the same place, if I'm not mistaken, where they showed off the undead. I think there was a dragon scene there too. It's some sort of a Coliseum amphitheater thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's the dragon pit.
Yeah, that's right. And they have their little meeting thing.
Oh, dude. Yeah,
and
okay.
I did not understand this scene. It's like Grey Worm is like, the Unsullied control the city. We have our prisoners. They killed our queen. And then Tyrion is somehow able to turn that into, well, you guys just need to vote for a king, and then tell the Unsullied what to do. Where's the connection there?
Dude,
am I insane?
No, you're not insane. I thought that whole scene was such a ridiculous jump. It's like, all right, you guys just cut the whole part that was interesting and jumped to this weird decision-making circle across a lot of these characters that I don't really think should be that relevant anymore. Like, who gives a fuck about Grey Worm now? Like, just... and why is Tyrion...
Hey, that's the master of war. You watch your tone.
Well, but, like, and then you have a prisoner who is suggesting how they, like, start this new government, and they're all just like, I mean, that sounds pretty reasonable. And there's this weird, like, 2-second sequence of comic relief that was clearly supposed to be intentionally awkward, where Sam stands up, like, they're trying to make some weird political statement about tyranny in the modern age with, like, well, maybe we should have a democracy. Look at the fat guy. And they totally skimp over the fact that they have, like, no mechanism to, like, do voting at all. You know, like, okay, cool plan, Sam, but how long is it going to take us to, like, develop a system for this? We need a leader right now, dipshit. Who are we going to pick in the interim? You know, like, the whole thing was just awkward and stupid. I didn't get it.
Sit Down Uncle was pretty good. I liked Sansa for that one. The guy stands up for his big, bold moment. Sit down, Uncle.
I mean, it was pretty good, but at the same time, I was just like, this is some Lucas-level fucking comic relief here. This
it was
like
not the time.
Rose from Star Wars, man. Like, what is this? This is like Jar Jar Binks level shit. Like, come on, man. What are we doing here?
It just seems like this classic thing of, it's like one time I watched the movie Wyatt Earp. And it's like a 4-hour-long movie or something, at least when it's playing on TV with my friend, and we're like 11 years old, and every time something cool was about to happen, it cut to black. And that's basically what this shit was. It's like, oh my god, yeah. Dany's dead. Jon's standing there, pool of blood, dragon just left. What are you gonna... Cut to black. What? That's it?
Yeah.
It was pretty much that again here. That could have been really interesting.
What was your reaction?
I don't think I needed the rest of the stuff in that episode.
What was your reaction when Tyrion finally said Bran the Broken?
I don't even know. I was just like, really? I don't know.
Carlo got a text from one of his rugby teammates that just started watching Game of Thrones recently, and it just said, oh, man, you're telling me Raisin Bran's going to be king? That shit's whack. I think he's only seen like 3 seasons, but we laughed out loud at that for a good 3 minutes consecutive. I mean, in some ways it kind of fit, and I am glad they didn't just abandon the Bran story arc, but I can't stand that they didn't mention the fact that he's the 3-eyed fucking raven. They touch on it by saying, well, we know you don't really want anymore, and then Sansa points out that his fucking dick doesn't work anymore.
And
that
Tyrion
was real great.
Says he is our memory. He's the 3-eyed raven.
Is that it? And then they're all just like,
he says that.
Do they all even know what that fucking means? What that actually entails? Like
he seemed to indicate that they did. He said that he is our memory, our collective memory. What better story is there than the one who controls all our memories and stories?
You're right. I guess he did mention it, but just the way that like no one really like that is such a.
I know that's a massive plot point.
Like they just like skimp over. Like he's beyond king. He's basically the equivalent of a god that is living. He holds all of their memories. He knows everything. He sees everything. He can kind of tell the future. They say, hey, you want to be king? And he goes, well, why do you think I fucking showed up, bitch?
Okay,
what?
That was all right. So you're asking what my reaction was. I'm just looking at my Discord notes that I was posting to you as it was going. First off, this podcast gonna be good. I believe was when they dragged out Tyrion, because then immediately I said, why is Grey Worm okay with this? When they voted Bran, what is happening? Those are my reactions from there. So
okay,
yeah, I don't understand. I guess maybe this is the best time of any, because I thought we talked about how there was no way to save the show, but I thought if they can take the three-eyed raven part, because people have been talking about this concept of like it's almost the equivalent of Jar Jar Binks being a Sith. Is this thought that maybe Bran is super evil? Because from what I understand, in the books, I did some slight research on the Three-Eyed Raven. The Three-Eyed Raven used to be a powerful figure, the last one. He was like a powerful political figure, and I believe he was friends with Aemon Targaryen, that guy who, the blind guy Jon befriends at the wall.
Okay.
And they used to do their shit together. So the guy kind of hoarded power, like the old Three-Eyed Raven. And then now Bran is the new Three-Eyed Raven. And so what if this Three-Eyed Raven is essentially a god entity that goes from body to body, and he has been playing them all because he keeps saying, you were exactly where you were supposed to be. The pieces are moving, all this kind of shit. Like he is playing the Game of Thrones. Like he is the person moving all these pieces, and now he has become in power. Because what other set of circumstances could ever make Bran king?
Yeah.
It's extremely limited. A sort of killing all his siblings.
Right.
Which I guess is one way to do it. It would probably be a lot easier than burning down an entire kingdom that you want to control. But theoretically, let's say that in George R.R. Martin's version, that's what we're going to find out, is that this three-eyed raven ends up being some super evil thing. Maybe this is how the show shows it without showing it. Like maybe all this animal shit was like, oh, Bran controlled the horse. Oh, Bran controlled the dragon. That could have saved it. I'm not saying that's what they set up for, and I don't think that's what's going to happen, but that was the only cool way Bran becomes king. The way they made Bran king, I'm just like, why? Why do you guys trust this guy?
I mean, I kind of agree. I thought I was always living under this guise of it's going to be a bittersweet ending. And I actually thought that it was going to end with the undead winning and that they were going to come together and the Night King was going to sit on the Iron Throne as the closing scene. That was my prediction at the end of the last season.
Yeah.
So I always gone with this. It's not going to be a happy ending show. Everything indicates that this is going to be something ridiculous. They want to do something different. They want it to be this kind of evil. It'll probably be some sort of social commentary. I love that conspiracy theory with Bran. The fact that he's actually connected to the Night King, he's somehow controlling all of it, and then there's some dark reveal at the end where they all think he's a good guy, and we find out somehow he's actually a bad guy. And now he's got all the power. Fucking close the curtains. Damn, that makes you want to go back and rewatch the whole fucking thing and see all the shit that the Puppet Master was doing and tinkering around with everybody. But instead, no. Jon goes camping, Arya role plays as Christopher Columbus, and Sansa sits in the fucking snow and hangs out in her castle. That's how it fucking ends. They just let everyone go, and you don't even really know. Bran's just sitting there like a fucking log, just like, yes.
Okay,
yes.
Now, can we discuss... I'm also very confused, and I'm looking to chat for this one. I need help, guys. I don't fucking understand why Grey Worm's okay with Jon Snow being sent to the wall. What? How did they convince Grey Worm that was a sufficient punishment if they're just all leaving? First off, they also didn't take the Reach. Hey, do you guys want a whole country? Nah, that's cool. I think we're just gonna head to that beach that I talked about Masende with.
No, I think you're totally right. I had the same thought of like, oh, so Grey Worm's cool with that. Oh, Grey Worm's leaving. It sounds like Grey Worm doesn't really give a shit about anything anymore. You know, so he's the equivalent of a Kingslayer. I guess he's a Queenslayer, technically. And that's it. They're going to send him up to the wall. Now, I have to say, the thing that made sending him to the wall so stupid to me is that the wall doesn't do anything anymore. The whole point of
that's what I mean.
Yeah, the whole point of the Night's Watch was to protect from the whites, and I guess it was sort of a myth, but it turns out that was created for a purpose, right? What is the wall now? It's just a weird
I guess
divider.
The wall theoretical. Yeah, that's the thing, is that the wall existed when everyone thought the whites weren't real anyway.
Yeah.
And it is their prison system, essentially.
Yeah, that's what they say, right? There still needs to be a place for, what does he say, bastards
the bastards
and
and broken men.
Or,
I believe.
broken men. There you go.
But it's still like, and now the wildlings are apparently all chill. Of course, that won't last forever.
No, still,
it's just weird.
It's a totally different dynamic. That was part of what they were protecting it for. The early seasons, they build up that, like, quote, racial tension between the wildlings and the people at the wall, and they hate the crows, and the crows hate the wildlings, and they all fucking eat each other and do all this nasty shit. Now the two leaders are boys. Not to mention, what kind of a punishment is that? You're sending Jon Snow to the north, where he is a fucking hero. No matter what you do, no matter what ranks you strip him of, what, you think he's not going to be Lord Commander? What, the other Lord Commander is going to boss him around? Jon, I want you to shovel over there. I want you to dig a grave for this guy. I'm not.
Well, I think he was Lord Commander. I assume that was insinuated by sending him to the wall. That was my assumption.
I don't know. They didn't really say, but that's what I mean. Like, oh, what a punishment.
Yeah.
You put him in charge of the wall? Yeah, you basically just made him king of fucking Castle Black, dude. Great. Big deal. He loves the North. His last name's fucking Snow, homie.
Yeah, he got Aemon'd pretty hard, eh? I mean, I guess that was intentional, right? He's another Targaryen heir sent to the wall. Although Aemon's is a lot different. That was like so he couldn't be used or whatever.
Yeah,
but I guess
right.
that's the same thing with Jon.
It's a connection. Yeah, it's a connection. You're right. You're right.
But man, has a character ever been so screwed over in a TV show? I gotta say, Jon got raked pretty hard, man. Comes back to life, fights the undead, spends his whole life fighting. Kind of blows it with the queen a little bit, but then he redeems himself by killing her, and then he gets sent to the wall.
I actually was really hoping that he would just go full meta and kill himself, and then they would resurrect him and make him be king, and then he'd kill himself again, and then they'd resurrect him again, and then he'd kill the priest that resurrected him and kill himself, and then it would end. Something real dark like that. That would have at least been interesting.
I just don't even know.
That's the level of expectation I was on. That's how sad my viewing experience was.
Oh, and Tyrion becomes the hand. Oh, the Tyrion punishment. What was that?
Well, obviously, he's going to make him work to redeem his mistakes for the rest of his days, Trent. Weren't you listening? I mean, I don't know. It's fucking stupid. That's what I mean. Like, they needed to sack up and kill some fucking characters. They needed to Ned Stark this shit. They killed everyone's favorite character in episode 6 of the first season. What are we doing here? This is the last episode, and everyone's just walking away with get-out-of-jail-free cards. You don't get those for free in real life, man. Those things cost thousands. That was a Creed reference.
Sam had a couple promotions this episode, too. He was the house leader in charge of the house at the meeting, and then he was master, whatchamacallit, maester.
Yeah.
Or archmaester.
He was archmaester. He just kept getting promoted. Bran made it all the way through. What a happy story arc that was.
I believe my quote in my convo is, oh, Jesus, he put his book in the show. Why is Bran just chilling at this table? Why is Bran suddenly so smug?
I don't know. I don't understand any of it. And I saw a lot of memes on Free Folk this morning about, like, Bran asking them to do stuff, and their responses could always just be, dog, don't you know the answer? You know, like, how could you... Why does he have little bitches? Why are they there doing shit for him and discussing stuff? Bran would just tell him what to do. Like, I feel like the way they've adapted the Three-Eyed Raven at this point has turned into the equivalent of introducing time travel into a series, where it gives you this plot hole to always argue, like, well, why didn't they just go back in time and kill him? Why didn't they just, I mean, you can fucking manipulate time, man. It's the same fucking thing. If you can see everything, just do everything right. You know what's going to happen. You understand the fate of the world. Just fucking... God damn it, Bran. God. It gets under
there
my
were a
skin.
couple awkward comedy bits in this episode, too. When they started zooming out at the table, oh, please, not the table as the ending scene. Oh, thank God, the wall. Where's Tormund? And there he is.
I mean, we started having that same feeling, though, like, oh, my God, is this the last fucking scene? Oh, my God, is this where it ends? Are you... Okay, thank God.
Yeah.
But yeah, when they're arguing as they zoom out, I hated it because that's all my brain was thinking of. Just like, dude, why would they be arguing about this petty shit when they have the seer of the world right next to them?
Oh, someone's still got to do the dirty work.
Well, yeah, but they're like, yes, you're right. But he could just say more. You know what I mean?
He doesn't make a habit of that, this guy.
He could
That's
just
gonna
explain
make him such a
things
great king.
a little better. Why do you think I showed up here?
And they really just did nothing with the three-eyed raven. There was another point. The three-eyed. Oh yeah. By the way, we appear to be missing a master of whisperers. What was that, Bran?
What is that? What is a master of whisperers?
Well, that's what Varys was.
Oh,
Right? But Bran knows everything. Why does he need a fucking master of whisperers?
yeah, you're right.
Was that like a shitty ass joke?
That's a good question. Was that an attempt at humor, or was that an unironic, genuine, just like, well, we got to fill all the house seats? Yeah. Where's my whisperer? What are they saying today? Like, Bran, homie, my main man. Jesus. What did you think about Arya's ending? I know you think it's setting up for the next series. We're just going to see Arya the Explorer as its standalone show.
It has to be. I see no other reason for that. I mean, it speaks to her development in some ways of like she fell off the revenge plot. Arya had some weak shit this episode, though, I gotta say. In terms of the Arya character, let me go through the Arya lines that I can remember. I know a killer when I see one. Bitch, she just fucking burnt down a whole city. Everyone knows she's a fucking killer. First off, that line was the most worthless line of all time. Like, what was that? Anyway, and then
you're right.
Her next line is the whole "You say a word again about killing my brother, and I'll slit your throat." During their wonderful meeting,
very tough, very brash. So Arya.
Where, by the way, how come no one else asked for independence? Well, sorry, I know we're back on that meeting again, but what was that? Why are the Iron Thrones were like, oh, yeah, independent kingdom, that does sound good. Nah, that's cool. I guess we'll just submit to servitude under an army that has no one now that the North is the one with the entire army. Didn't get that either.
I was hoping there would be some kind of weird tension or follow-up. Sansa's just like, sorry, brother, I love you, but nope, not in. And he just gives her the nod. He doesn't even fucking say anything. He just fucking, all right, yeah, whatever. Who gives a shit about the North? Do what you want, you fiery bitch. And that's it. It's just over. And no one else fucking says anything. Like, someone else should have stood up. Uncle should have been like, well, if she has got her land, I think I would like to trolley along in my own. Like, nothing. That's it.
They could have had at least a couple lines of just like, you on the Iron Islands, you have no grains, you have no farms, you need us. Yeah, you and the blah, blah, blah. You have no ships, you have no navy, you need them. It could have been some little togetherness shit.
Instead, Yara just sits there and looks grumpy, and then that's it. It's just over. Come back. Hey, guys, so we're not independent anymore. I just want to let you know. Well, what about the North? Well, they had some leverage. Sansa asked, so Jesus.
Oh, God, man, they really ruined a lot of characters.
Because don't they make the Iron Islands out to be like the super tough, like the pirates, like the rapers, the pillagers, like low morals, but like gritty and fucking they don't bow to anyone kind of thing? What is that? Like, it just completely fuck their culture. Nope. Bran's here. All right. I'm going to follow Bran the Broken. All right.
She even made a point of loyalty before to Dany. And then, no. That's cool.
It's just done.
No loyalty.
See you later.
Arya. So Arya, in further, what is Arya's whole arc? Let's say. So she's, I'm a kid. I'm a tomboy, and then I learned to fight, and then I learned to change faces and only use it twice in the entire series. And then I kill some people. I have my kill list. I'm BFFs with the Hound. I have a father figure.
Yeah.
My father figure dies. And she talked about exploring Bravos and Westeros. Like, she did talk about West of Westeros in earlier seasons and stuff like that, too. So it kind of made sense. But it seemed to me like they were digging pretty goddamn hard for a spinoff.
For sure. And
I don't know if Maisie Williams has enough money, but if she wants to be rich,
Yeah.
Like, go, go, go.
I mean, Arya has always been one of my favorite characters. I would say like a top 3. Her and the Hound have kind of been 2 of my favorites, and I love that they had so much interaction throughout the series. I think Arya has one of the best arcs overall, and I was very impressed that, like, you go back and look at season 1, season 2, you forget how young Maisie Williams was. Like, that character was so young and so ridiculous in terms of her set of circumstances, and she portrays it exceptionally well. And I feel like that character just really, she's like at the right age where you feel like you're watching her grow up as you watch the character almost, you know? It's kind of cool. But I do think that faceless bullshit that's like season 5 of The Sopranos.
That's some three-eyed raven shit, dude.
Yeah, dude. They're just scraping for like, all right, what kind of random bullshit can we keep these guys busy with? As soon as you see her bury her sword at the beginning of that season, you're like, all right, I can just fast forward this entire season. Just show me when she picks up that sword again, and we're moving on. And that's basically it. You know, she's got this crazy godlike ability and essentially ignores it. And we know that she can use it because she did it to kill the Freys. That was a badass scene, a badass set of dialogue, a really cool reveal. You're watching, you're like, something feels off about this. And you're like, oh, it's Arya.
Dude, that was actually so lit.
That was one of the best scenes ever. That's like a top 5 scene for me in the entire series. I remember watching that and just feeling like, dude, I knew there was something. I knew that wasn't Walder Frey, man. I knew it. Ah, shit, yeah, Arya's awesome. And then that's it. You get no more of that. You know, she uses it to kill that raper guy. Remember that really gross scene where he's like grabbing all the young girls and then she gets beaten and doesn't react and then she fucking stabs his eyes out? That was top tier 10 out of 10 Arya that they used to set up with that fucking faceless shit. And then it's gone. They just turn her into a Bran-like fucking zombie. I know a killer when I see one. We get it. You're tough. You're a fucking killer. You don't want to fuck Gendry anymore. We totally get it. Now go do something cool. Sorry.
But I digress.
But no, I totally agree. What was the other? I wrote down another one that was just like that, of just like something they introduced that ended up being the most useless shit.
Well, the three-eyed raven, Arya's thing.
Oh god, maybe I didn't write it down. What did you think about the Brienne scene, writing the shit about Jaime? Did you like that? Oh, Bran's warging. That was the other one.
Oh yeah,
they set up this awesome shit with the ability to warg and take over animals. And then towards the end of the show, last 2 seasons, all he does is control ravens to see where the Night King is. Then after that, it's just, I'm going to go play with the birds, guys. I used to warg into wolves. Weren't there elephants at one point? Aren't there a bunch of badass animals that he could turn into? Why didn't they ever explore him warging into the dragon? That could have been a cool way to end the show.
Could have been like, they're too intelligent for me to warg. Boom, done. Thank you. That's all I needed.
That's true. So yeah, but those are just 2 cool potential superpowers that they just kind of went, nah, that's too cool. We're too close to Superman now. I'll see you later.
I will say I was surprised. I did say I have to give the writers credit. I did not expect the Starks to rule everything.
Me neither.
Since they were kind of the main family the whole show.
Me neither. I thought that was too beautiful to be possible, you know?
I was surprised. He gets the wall. They get Winterfell, and they get King's Landing somehow. And apparently they get the new continent, assuming that Arya's just going to go be some conquistador or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Conquistadress.
Now, I hate to even say this, Trent, but I have to ask.
Uh-huh.
Do you think Arya setting up that, like, well, what's west of Westeros? The first thing I thought was, it's a goddamn globe. You're going to end up in Essos, you dummy. It's just a fucking, just wrap it around. The map stopped there, but it all just fucking connects. Are they implying that the Game of Thrones Earth might be flat?
No, I don't.
Is that the implication? Are the writers actually flat earthers planting the seeds that she's just gonna fucking sail left? I mean, it was so Columbus. I mean, she's looking to fall off the earth,
they're just saying they don't know what is west.
Yeah, but it's a globe.
There must be some continent.
They know. What do you mean
mean
it's some
nothing.
continent? It's Essos. You think there's a whole nother continent they don't know about? It just fucking wraps around, man. The map is the globe just flattened out. Like, what's she going to find? How Columbus are we going to get? Is she going to land on Essos and think she found a new continent? Because that would be awesome. I'd watch that series. Arya and the fucking Mayflower, dude. Or the Pinta or the Santa Maria or whatever the fuck he rode on. I don't know.
I would be so shocked if they don't get a spinoff with her. I would be stunned. Maybe it only comes down to if she doesn't agree to it. I'm sure the money is being offered to her. But yeah.
Art. So what is the like conclusion or I guess the latest on that? I didn't realize that they've like approved spin-off shows. I thought that was just sort of like fan theory, like, well, of course they're gonna do some. Have they actually announced that there's like budget and shit for a spin-off series?
Last time I read it was 3.
Wow.
The prequel is the one that's like super guaranteed from what I understand.
Yeah, but that's really old. That's supposed to be like 1,000 years prior to what we're seeing now.
And that's been being talked about since like 2017.
Right. So that's basic. It's going to be like same universe, but it's basically not going to have any impact on anything. There'll be some Easter eggs and shit, but it's 1,000 years is a pretty fucking long time. There will be no characters in common.
Yeah, and George R. R. Martin's writing the prequel and everything too. Man, that guy's busy, you know?
Jeez, dude. He is busy.
All he says is this story, A Song of Ice and Fire, is done. He said there's no revival, reboot, spin-off talk.
Okay.
So some people are claiming that they're not going to do any episodes with Arya. I feel like it seems way too built not to. But maybe I'm wrong.
I mean, that's the genius, right? Maybe they're not planning on it right now, but they're leaving that option open. So that if they want to, or the budget, I mean, I think they're going to go Star Wars with this thing, dude. I think they're going to fucking expand it out and milk it as much as they can until like 10 years from now.
Some Lord of the Rings shit.
Yeah, dude, exactly. We're going to be looking at this like, dude, this is the fucking 5th spinoff of Game of Thrones. Shit is getting whack. I'm not watching it anymore. That's how I feel about Star Wars. I don't watch the new Star Wars movies anymore. I don't give a shit. I got tired of just hating it. I was just like, this is not for me anymore. I don't think I've liked any of them since episodes 4, 5, and 6. Everything else is kind of hot garbage in comparison. I'm over it. I gave up. That's going to be Game of Thrones in 10 years. Calling it right now.
That's how I feel about superhero movies. I haven't watched any of the Avengers shit because I just got way too burned out on superhero movies, man. I can't believe that they were as popular as they were, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that was just something that never
like
resonated
a younger generation or
with
something,
me.
maybe.
Yeah. I mean, I've been to a couple Comic Cons where I felt kind of out of place. Like, I just don't even know what a lot of this shit is. But seeing the fandom, I kind of get it. People were really intense about superheroes. Stan Lee was also pretty cool. I think Marvel wouldn't have been as big without a real person behind it that was as badass as Stan Lee. That dude was like 10 out of 10 fucking gem, especially from the generation that he was from. He did so much like progressive shit that he pushed through with his work. I kind of get why it became so popular. And that dude was grinding until he was like 95. He was still going to conventions.
Yeah, man. He was still going hard.
Like almost to a fault. I think, didn't his manager or agent or somebody they just started a lawsuit for elder abuse because they were making him work too much when he was sick and stuff.
Yeah,
it's pretty
like
fucked
that.
up. Poor Stan Lee. Anything else about the ending? Anything else that we missed? The very end? Oh yeah. So what is the very, very end supposed to imply? So John,
I don't know.
John goes up, and then the ending is they ride out of the wall into wildling territory. They're riding north with a giant party. It's not like just John. It's John and like
it's like all the wildlings.
Is it? Oh, that was all wildlings. Okay,
I believe. I mean, that's what it was supposed to be. And then you see some grass sprouting up past the wall too.
Yes.
So it's like it's gonna thaw because
the Night King's gone.
The Night King's dead. So I guess winter's over.
Sort of.
And John's just sending them back home.
Okay.
I'm surprised how ambiguously they left it because I've seen a lot of talk of people just like arguing of John's gonna go live with the wildlings, and other people saying, "What the fuck are you talking about? He's king of Castle Black. He's just helping the wildlings get back to their settlement, and he's just hanging out with Tormund. He's not ditching the wall."
But at the same time,
I'm more towards there's no fucking way Jon Snow, honor-bound guy, is ditching the wall.
But
absolutely zero chance.
But why would the Lord Commander go out with this giant cavalry without that many other people to bring him back to the wall? Like, isn't that just a risk in general?
Well, I don't think there's anyone else at the wall right now, is there?
I don't know. I mean, like, look at every episode of Star Trek. You don't send the captain on away missions. You know, you don't. Why? What do they need an escort for? They got fucking Tormund. They're goddamn wildlings. They're a nomadic people. They're used to surviving in the roughage. That's their whole MO, man. They don't need warm showers. That's how they survive. What do they need John with? He's just like, all right, guys, have fun rebuilding Castle Black. I'm going to go for a ride with my boy Tormund, make sure he gets home okay. I'm going to go walk him home. Then I'm going to ride back by myself. It'll be cool. Don't worry about it.
Our conversation last night is, the very end, why? And I said, I just don't know. And he said, is he going camping? And I said, and then he said, "What the fuck is the point of the wall?" And I said, "Why does the wall shut so ominously?"
Well, that's what I mean. That's why I think he's going to live with the wildlings. As much as it doesn't make any fucking sense, I think that door closing is supposed to be significant of, okay, this is Jon Snow shutting the door to his past and starting his future as a wildling.
Yeah, but there's no way. There's no chance in hell Jon Snow would ever ditch the wall. He's way too honor bound.
I don't know. He's been exiled to the wall. Maybe he's done with it. Maybe he's like, you know what? Into the wild style. You know, fuck everything. I'm giving away my material possessions. It's just me and whatever his sword's name is, Longclaw. And that's it. He's just going to go chill with Tormy. He's a wildling now. He's going to go be a fucking savage in the woods. He's literally going camping for the rest of his life. That's how they ended the show. They're setting up for the spinoff series of Jon Snow hosts a wildlife show in the north. Jon Snow, Animals of the North
thing, right? It was the exact same way the show opened. That was, if you look at the first episode, it has all the exact same shots of the Night's Watch walking through the woods, and now it's him and the wildlings. It's like, oh, now he's come together. Yay.
Yep. Hey, dude, General Beef makes a good point in chat. He did previously say his watch has ended. I think he's a deserter, dude. I think he's ditching. He wants to go play with Tormund.
Yeah, but that was for good reason.
Dude, he's going to go explore his bi-curious nature and hang out with the wildlings, man. I'm telling you.
No. Bi-curious nature.
Him and Tormy, dude. I don't know.
So is the show rewatchable?
Yes.
I'm
absolutely
tempted to rewatch the first 4 or 5 seasons. It's been so long.
I watched a little bit of season 2 last week. I think it's actually pretty rewatchable. I think it really I wanted to go back and watch a few episodes because I really couldn't tell, like, okay, am I just on the hate train? Am I overstating? Am I just hating for the sake of hating? And the dialogue really is different. You pop on just an episode in the middle of 2 or 3, it is like night and day. It's like how actual people talk to each other about kind of normal things. Like, it's Tarantino-esque. You know, it's like criminals having regular conversations. And now it's not like that at all. It is just fucking over-dramatic Scorsese-style fan service. And it's just not as good. I feel like I'm watching a J.J. Abrams movie. Lens flare. Awesome stare. Dun, 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 dun. Like, come on, man.
It reminds me of The Office, where I don't watch the last 3 seasons as I do my rewatches. It's basically, Michael's out, I'm out, pretty much.
Yeah.
Ellie shows up, nah, I'm good.
But I think even up to the last season is still rewatchable because it's still kind of interesting. You know, the last season was building up with that intensity, but there was still so much stuff going on, so many storylines.
There was a major shift.
They set up. It was like, the beginning of that shift, and I think it's still watchable. I think this last season to me still stands apart from the others, like another order of magnitude disconnected from the season prior, even though that was already a step down this rabbit hole. I would definitely rewatch it, though. I think if I were with somebody that hadn't seen it and was curious, I would definitely be down to go episode by episode.
That's what my wife wants to do. She wants to watch it all.
It's still an incredible show.
Kind of our next big show.
All things considered, all time, if I'm ranking, my top 5, top 10 series ever of all time, up there with my Star Trek Next Generations, my Breaking Bads, The Wire, The Sopranos, those are like a good kind of top 4, top 5 power ranking. Game of Thrones is still top 10 for me. I think you're sitting like 6 or 7 overall as a series.
I would agree.
The other seasons still outweigh it. I think the whole show is still like an 8.5 out of 10 or something for me. I think
it's the only real fantasy.
Yeah.
Of that caliber. I mean, it is basically Lord of the Rings caliber for the first 4 to 5 seasons, and it's instead of being movies, it's like a full TV show, which is pretty sick. And it's obviously not. I mean, I guess it's the same realm because when I was growing up, fantasy wasn't that cool.
Yeah.
I think you would agree with that. It was not popular culture. Like, the fact that Game of Thrones could become a worldwide phenomenon people would think you're insane. I think that fantasy could be that cool. And then Lord of the Rings really broke that open.
I think Harry Potter, too. We owe a lot of credit to Harry Potter. Yeah, I remember I was in 4th grade, 5th grade, the first time, one of my friends at the time had this book. I was like, what the hell is that? He's like, oh, Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. I'm like, dude, it's so good. You wouldn't believe how good it is. And I'm like, yeah, I don't like fantasy shit. I think it's kind of stupid. I don't really like to read. He was like, no, you don't understand. This is like better than any fantasy shit you've ever heard of. I'm like, yeah, okay. And then 5 years later, I realized, holy shit, Harry Potter's actually really, really good. And that whole franchise was just, that is 10 out of 10 fantasy. I'm not saying you have to like Harry Potter or love the writing or the ending or anything like that, but the way she outlined that universe and made it
what's so good about her
human?
universe is that it's actually very simple for a fantasy universe.
Yes.
That's what made it so accessible. And it helped propel people into a little bit more deeper stuff. You know, like Dune, I think, is one of those books where, like, I read Dune and it's just like, oh my God, this thing's... I feel like I have to reread every sentence like 3 times sometimes to remember who somebody is or something. And then, you know, Lord of the Rings is the same way, but Game of Thrones is less that much. At least with the show adaptation, obviously, they try and take that down a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. For me, the best kind of sci-fi and fantasy are the ones that are like, hey, what if we took real humans and then just changed the parameters a little bit and added these other options? It's not this dystopia. It's not that, like, that's what makes Star Trek so good, where it's futuristic, but they're still just kind of humans doing human shit. It's not really about fighting. It's not really about space and technology as much as it's about how humans handle these predicted changes.
Like ethics, basically.
Yeah. I think that's, to me, like what made True Blood one of the better vampire series was that it's like, okay, what if humans and vampires were a real thing that coexisted and humans were just finding out about it because of this invention that allowed vampires to drink synthetic blood instead of human blood. To me, that's a cool setup for a show. That show ended terribly and went off the rails like every other shitty fantasy show like that. But it's a cool setup. I think that's the hallmark of good fantasy, and all these others hit those boxes. You know, Game of Thrones feels like a historical piece about medieval humans if there were dragons and a little bit of magic. But it feels more like a history piece first with fantasy as a supplemental. Does that make sense? Even it's not, but that's what it feels like. That's what makes it so good is it resonates. It's very human in a weird way, even though they're all fictional characters in a fantasy world with fire.
I'm kind of looking forward to rewatching it.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. It's not that bad, and you appreciate it more, knowing that it ends so shitty. At least for me, I had this feeling of like, damn, dude.
One way to look at it.
They're just walking around. This is kind of awesome, and it is a little slow at times, but it's kind of good. It's kind of good to be tortured. It's sort of like Dota. You know, there are if you play a lot of Dota games, a good 20% of your games, 30% of your games have a pretty long window. That's not that fun. You know, it's
worthless.
Like 30 to 45 minutes. You're a fucking position 4. The other team's playing real defensive. You don't have map control. You can't get wards down. You're kind of just farming, but you don't want to take farm from your cores that are struggling. You know you're not winning, but there's still an okay chance you can win. You're just suffering through till the other team will commit to a fight, or you can take a Roche or something. That's part of what makes Dota fun. There are these windows that fucking suck that you have to grind through. Same thing. Except it doesn't suck. It's just, it's slow and dense, and you have to sit there and digest it if you really want to absorb it, you know?
Consider me all absorbed.
Consider me absorbed. I really do want to try to read the books. I downloaded the little sample of the first one, see if I can chew through it. I fucking hate reading so much, dude. I hate reading fantasy, but I want to try it. I want to try it with this one.
Gonna be a big boy.
I'm gonna be a big boy and try it. All I read is nonfiction business stuff. That's what really keeps my interest. I like reading about stocks. When it comes to fantasy, though, it's too slow. I'd rather watch it.
Yeah, I prefer nonfiction when I'm reading. Or like I like historical accounts of stuff. The last book I read was actually Dead Wake. That was a really good book. If you guys like nonfiction books, good. It was about the Lusitania. It's solid. It's about the last crossing of the Lusitania, a luxury ocean liner. Blah 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 blah. But yeah, it was nasty.
Interesting. Do you still put Game of Thrones in top 10 overall?
Yes.
All-time shows
I
for
don't
you?
think I can. I mean, if I had to list like top 5 right now, even it would probably make a top 5. I can't think of like 4 or 5 shows better than it. I think The Office, for what it is just maybe that's. Is it okay to rank The Office as top 5 best shows ever? I just love The Office. If I can just rewatch it so endlessly, it must be good.
I think it's yeah, I agree. I think it's pretty close to top 5 for me. I think you're right. It does get hard to power rank different genres,
Yeah.
And I definitely tend to weight good dramas more highly. Like, because I feel like that The Wire and The Sopranos made me fucking feel, you know, like those shows are dark and intense, and there's something about that resonates. And by definition, The Office is just designed to be lighter. However, I think a lot of those like whatever you want to call it, kind of like lowbrow comedy shows, those like primetime TV, a lot of them are pretty cheesy. And The Office is cheesy, but in a slightly different, weirdly lovable. Like, I think it stands apart from like Parks and Rec or like 30 Rock or what Big Bang or like, I don't know. I can't even list other ones because I just watch The Office over and over. You know, like it's Seinfeld territory for me. I think it's way better than Seinfeld.
Oh, Seinfeld. Ooh, true.
The one thing that makes Seinfeld a potential top tenner for me is the Elaine character. The rest of it's funny, but Elaine is truly like, she was a trendsetter when that show came out. That was like early 90s shit. Most female characters were obnoxious, pretty sexist tropes of like pushover characters or like the girlfriend. The fact that she was a female in a leading role where she was like just one of the guys and she was like...
She was just a character, yeah.
Well, she was just a character, but she was truly one of the guys. Like, she was pretty sexual and very hungry, but she was never perceived as like a slut or anything like that. She was just part of that dialogue of like the quote locker room talk. You know, she has this physical relationship with Jerry where she pushes him around.
Give me 6 sponges.
You know,
yeah, just give me a dozen sponges. You know what? What's a case? 30. Just give me the case.
Exactly.
Give me a case of sponges.
And a lot of that is a tribute to the actress that said she would only do the show if she was a real character and not just like Jerry's girlfriend. But that, like, if you go back and watch it with that context and think about Elaine as this like power role woman that's actually hysterical as well, you know, that's the thing. She helps carry the show. She's not there as just like the token woman. She's actually funny.
Yeah.
So I think to me that's like, and George, I mean, fucking Christ, that's Jason Alexander's fucking life work right there, man.
What do you rate higher, The Wire or The Sopranos?
The Wire, I think.
Really? I think I would pick The Sopranos.
I think The Sopranos drags too much. God, it's a toss-up. I think it's by a
tough.
hair, but I like The Wire better. I don't know. There's more characters that are more diverse. I felt like the last 2 seasons of The Sopranos really kind of didn't nosedive, but were underwhelming compared to the rest of it, whereas The Wire ramps up, and I think the last couple seasons are fucking incredible. The whole redemption arc with Pryzbylewski, that shit was incredible. You know, like, I think the way The Wire wraps up is very, very captivating still.
That's true. I can remember a couple seasons or like episodes of The Wire even where it was pretty good pacing. It was like, oh shit, it's getting intense.
I didn't care for
guess,
season 2 that much. I think that's the pretty popular opinion. The boats.
I like that season. I was surprised to find out that was so hated.
I think it's just because it doesn't connect to the other stuff as much. But I think you and I were talking about it. You said it sets up for the other characters to develop because like time passes and then you come back to them like, oh, okay, let's see where everybody's at. So I think they work it in better than people give it credit for. The Sopranos is really authentic as well in terms of like the accents and the casting and the way they piece it together. But The Wire is like, I mean, a lot of the actors and actresses in that show aren't even famous actors. They're just fucking Baltimore people that are so true to the characters they're trying to portray. They can play those characters better than like a trained actor can. And to me, that kind of authenticity is so rare and resonates so much. Especially since I grew up on the East Coast. I've been to Baltimore a lot of times. You know, it's such a real show. I love shows that have that real fucking dialogue.
It's interesting seeing other people's opinions in terms of like best shows and stuff too. I guess we all agree pretty much on like Sopranos, Wire, like all being in top 10, let's say.
Yeah.
A lot of these shows.
Yeah.
That definitely seems true. Have you ever watched Band of Brothers, by the way?
I have not. I've heard it's really good.
Dude. 100% recommend if that counts as a TV show. I guess I wasn't really thinking of it as one because it's like
it's a mini series,
but it is like, is it 12? Man, it's a lot. It's like 10 episodes, I think.
I heard it's intense. I heard it's
amazing. It is so good.
Brutally, just like, damn, I don't want to go to war.
Yeah, I recommend it to any of you guys out there who haven't seen it.
Okay,
it's very good.
Definitely need to watch that.
It was a little awkward when I was watching it on a screen a bit too big during the Holocaust liberation scene on a flight landing in Berlin without really realizing it next to a couple German people.
Wow.
Well, it was very graphic. I felt a little bad.
Yeah.
but it's top notch.
I still think my number one of all time, Star Trek: The Next Generation, still my absolute favorite TV show ever created. I think it is because it's the last Star Trek where Gene Roddenberry actually worked on it. He died like halfway through Next Generation being created.
Yeah.
So it's the pinnacle of like, the original series is just too old for me. It's too gimmicky. It's too ridiculous. I get for what it is for the time. It was a trendsetter. It changed shit. It laid the foundation. I'm not hating on it, but can't fucking watch it. Next Generation is still a little hokey, but it's watchably hokey, especially the Blu-ray remakes. The graphics look so much better. But it really captures that true Star Trek essence. I think that show was ahead of its time. Like, I was actually going to do a blog post of like 10 Next Generation episodes that were basically Black Mirror episodes in the early 90s. There's a lot of really good mindfuck episodes that make you think about science and physics and these really deep concepts of like string theory and alternate realities and all this shit. And it's all portrayed in a way that is relatively accurate to science, the way we theoretically understand it, and portrayed in a way that makes it accessible to anyone. You don't have to know anything about science or Star Trek or science fiction to watch some of those episodes as standalones and just appreciate how well they communicate these really dense concepts.
I've really been enjoying Deep Space Nine though, for what it's worth.
Me too.
I mean, I'm not expecting it to be as good as TNG, so that's probably what helps. Like just knowing in the knowledge that it's not as famous and everything. But I'm like 10 episodes in. It's great. Or no, I just finished the first season.
Okay.
It's better than I expected.
Dude, I feel the same way. I'm on episode 10 or 11 now of DS9, and I'm really enjoying it. I didn't realize how early it came out and how connected it was to Next Generation. It has a very different feel, but plays on a lot of those same tropes. Odo is very much like Data. Kira, very much like Worf. Obviously, Sisko and Picard have a lot of parallels. You got Wesley Crusher and Jake the Kid. I think Quark is actually a really cool character. I like that you get to discover more about like Ferengi culture and that kind of shit. I think DS9 is pretty fucking good. I wish I had watched it sooner.
Actually, when I started watching it, I had the biggest call out ever where I was just like, I guarantee Sisko is a Shakespearean guy just like Picard.
Yeah.
Like, there was no doubt in my mind. I went to his Wikipedia page, and the guy's got, like, massive Shakespearean history and awards and Broadway and stuff. Like, he is such a theater performer.
They really seem to like that, to play the diplomat character. It's like, that must be like a Rick Berman thing. He's just like, dude, we got to carry on this legacy of the diplomatic captain who's smart.
It's the way he talks.
Yeah. And well, the way he's good at reading social interactions. That's very Picard-like. Like he's adaptable.
I could listen to Sisko talk all day. His voice is so good.
Now, there's that Picard series coming out.
I do.
And that's supposed to be late 2019. So, like, 6 months from now, we're going to be looking at whatever it is, and it's an extension of Next Generation. It's like Picard in the years after the Enterprise or something like that.
How old is Picard now?
The actor or the character?
The actor.
I think he's 70s. He's like similar age to Ian McKellen. Maybe
Patrick Stewart will always just be Picard.
A little bit younger.
Let's see. He is...
Character's definitely getting old. It's also kind of weird, though, because in the final episode of Next Generation, they reveal Picard's future. So this future series is going to...
Dude, he's 78.
Yeah, there you go. Late 70s, dude. Fuck me.
How's he going to do a TV show?
He's a grinder, dude. Because they've got the fucking Actors Guild, and he can be like, all right, guys, no longer than 4 hours a day. I want this trailer. I want these massages. I want these kind of donuts. I want grain-free granola, if you can find that. I only eat fish that eat other fish. They'll fucking do it, dude. It's goddamn Patrick Stewart. He's a fucking sir, for Christ's sake. He can command what he wants.
He's a fucking sir. Yeah, that's pretty good.
I love Patrick Stewart, though. I love him as an actor. I love the characters he's portrayed, and I love him as a human, dude. I saw him speak once, and he just has this crazy, positive, motivational energy that is just like, if it came out that he is somehow a bad guy, I would be stunned. I think he's just a genuinely good person. I think he's almost Stan Lee-esque. Not same level, very different. Stan Lee created a lot of shit. I know, don't jump all over me, but he's just a fucking good guy. He's an old good guy.
I just like him and Ian's bromance.
Dude. Scissor me
those
timbers
guys are
with
always
that
doing
one.
silly stuff together.
Wow. Dude, okay, that is a good. Have you seen the movie Green Room? I think it's still on
No.
Netflix. Highly recommend. Patrick Stewart plays a Nazi.
All right.
Very weird movie. It's about a punk rock band that plays a show at a Nazi rally and doesn't realize it. And then things go haywire. They open their set by playing Nazi Punk's Fuck Off, that old Dead Kennedys song. So it gets testy. It's a good movie.
I've never heard of that.
It's pretty new. 2016, 2017, something like that. Very weird, but fuck it, Patrick Stewart, man. 10 out of 10 actor. So much range on that man.
Oh.
From lovable Captain Picard to the Nazi leader.
I can't believe how fast the ending of Game of Thrones came and went.
I mean, it was only 6 fucking weeks. It was a month and a half. I can't
My
believe
Sundays
they
are going to be so empty now.
I can't believe it, man. It still blows
Makes
my
me
mind.
sad.
They could have done 10. They could have done 10.
I can't. It's sinking in that it's over, guys.
So, okay, final thoughts, final
thoughts.
conclusions. I want to wrap it up pretty quickly here.
Yep.
But at the end of that episode, I was kind of just looking at, like, all right, of our surviving cast, this is a loaded question because I did like a lot of characters that ended up dying, but of the people left, my best character and worst character. The character that I loved the most, definitely Davos. By the end of it, just the way his arc has come, he fucking learned to read.
Yeah.
He passed it on to his son. He's now in control of shit. He somehow survived all these wars. He's got low ego. I like the way they portrayed that character. I felt like they never really fucked him up. He got a little lucky a couple times, but overall, Davos is pretty badass. Now, my flip side, worst character, definitely Grey Worm. Grey Worm has turned into this obnoxiously stupid, hateful. He's like an Unsullied that learned to love, and then his love got killed, and now he's just fucking raping and pillaging and killing people left and right on an absolute tirade. Fuck Grey Worm, dude. He turned into a piece of shit because Cersei executed the one person that cared about him. I get that sucks, but that does not excuse genocide, Grey Worm. I've been calling him Fuckworm. You know, like, fuck that guy. So that's my final takeaway on that last episode. Those were my highs and lows. That's true. Grey Worm can't rape, but still, he's a pillager.
A lot of my characters that I really liked got brutalized in the last, 3 episodes, I feel like. I thought Sansa overall was a pretty good character. That character had a lot of development and range and had to do a lot of shit. Like, you think about the changes that Sansa went through.
True.
She was pretty much never in any sort of power. Eventually gets there at the very end, but then doesn't really get a chance to make a lot of use of it. She has to kind of argue with Jon, and then ends up becoming Queen of Winterfell. That was a bit disappointing, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know who I would list as my most hated. Maybe Bronn. Yeah, okay, I'm down to pick Bronn. Fuck Bronn. What happened there?
It's like
how's he become Master of Coin?
They kept him around for no reason. Like, he's just one of those side characters. Like, everybody seems to like him, so we'll just let him pop up. Okay, they won, and they're all gonna... Like, yeah, he's not worthy of that kind of responsibility. Even if you give him Highgarden, you're right. Why would you make him Master of Coin? He's done literally nothing to build credentials towards managing money. He's a fucking sellsword.
Yeah, you say Tyrion owed him, but... And a Lancer always pays his debt. Could they just kill him? Like, seriously, the guy threatened to kill you.
He gave him Highgarden.
He has no allies.
Highgarden's a big fucking deal, dude. There's a lot of people there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, I think Highgarden
and yeah, that whole
thing
at the end where he's like, "Oh, we got to rebuild the brothels." Oh, great joke, guys.
Oh, yeah, dude. Fuck that lowbrow horse shit. Like, that's exactly what we're talking about. That's why Bronn would never be in that situation. Why would Bran sign off on that shit? Bran can see everything. He knows Bronn's going to waste money on horse shit like brothels. What are we doing here?
Yeah.
Are we supposed to just imply, like, you can kind of reverse logic that Bran thing any way you want. Of just like, well, since Bran knows everything and he trusts Bronn to be there, Bran knows that there's going to be a redemption arc for all these characters, and if he puts them together, the fate will line up such that all of them will be successful. That's the Bran magic. Everything in the show is going to work out because Bran knows it's going to work out, man. Fuck Bran. All right, maybe I'm changing, dude. Bran might be my worst.
Bran. Yeah, all right, I'm down. Fuck the king.
Like, I don't know. But there you go, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a journey. It's been a real journey. I'm glad I joined this roller coaster. As much as I hated this last season, it was still fun. It made me feel alive, Trent.
Yeah, for some reason, there's people out there who maybe you guys are just listening to this because you don't care about Game of Thrones. You didn't watch the first seasons, and you're just here to enjoy. Was it Schadenfreude or whatever? I can never say that word right. If you're just laughing at everyone's misery, it's worth going back and watching the first seasons for sure. Watch the whole way through.
Yeah,
you won't regret it. It is worth it for the rest of it.
Yes, absolutely. It is still a very well done show, and despite all of it, the graphics and the acting and the scenery, the cinematography, all of that throughout the show is pretty fucking good. The costuming, like the visuals,
the world building,
the visuals are incredible all the way through.
I miss Bobby B. I'm just gonna watch the first couple episodes for Bobby.
Bobby,
I'm excited.
Oh,
God,
dude.
I was strong back then.
Dude, big boy Baratheon. That's my man right there. Oh,
kills me, dude.
What was his famous quote? Your mother was fat and had jiggly titties or something? Your mother was a whore and had big titties, Ned.
I think
he was such an asshole. It made him so good.
Oh, God. Yeah. We need a Roberts Rebellion.
Bobby B. Jesus
and
Christ.
Also, shout out to Joffrey, by the way. Let's all agree. I saw it was his birthday the other day.
Huh.
You know what? That character kicked ass.
It's true.
That was a great fucking character. Possibly top 5 villains all time.
You know, you're totally right.
Perfectly played.
I think last episode, all that hating we did on Euron, that's where it comes from. Compare Euron's badassness and motives and villain-esque nature to Joffrey. It's night and day. You know, it's like Vader versus who's fucking Darth Maul from episode 1. You're like, what's this dude's backstory?
Who's the last guy?
Why has he got spikes in his head? Oh, he's dead. We don't really know or care. Cool. You know, that's Euron compared to fucking Joffrey, who's goddamn Vader. You know? You're right. Joffrey was badass. Now, I will say, final thought, I feel bad. I saw a lot of people tweeting this. I feel bad for the people that tweeted, you know, I just never cared about Game of Thrones or any show enough to be this mad about it. I feel bad for that mentality because I take that as both ways. If you're just neutral on it, that means you never appreciated how good the good shit is, man. And you got to get in on that good. You got to absorb it, dude. Just watch season 3 a couple times, man. Just let it really soak in and appreciate all the character development that's happening.
There's a reason why most finales get absolutely raked over the coals, you know?
You're right.
It's because people, you know, they develop an attachment, and it does get to a point where, like, you know, nothing you can do can satisfy them. I mean, it's kind of famous that, like, 6 Feet Under has one of the best endings of all time. I can't even think of other shows that really get that amazing ending. I personally didn't really like the ending to Breaking Bad. I thought it was a little lackluster, but it seems like everyone thought it was okay.
I thought it would be more crazy, but I think people appreciated that those drug shows get out of control. Like, Weeds was just like, what the fuck's even happening? And it ended in, like, a relatively normal fashion where he's not like a superhero or doing completely logic-defying type activities. So I think from that aspect, the Breaking Bad ending was pretty good. Probably could have done a little more with it. I actually liked The Sopranos ending. I hated it the first time I saw it, but then I had to digest it. I had to talk to a few people. I had to watch it again, and now I kind of like it. I like
the bell. It was good.
Yeah, I don't like what they did with a lot of the characters. Like, I don't like the arc they gave his son. I think Meadows' arc got pretty boring as well. I think
the season was kind of bad.
Yes.
But the final touch was all right.
But yeah, the last 5 minutes or whatever, I was okay with it. I think it was an artsy way to end a very difficult show. Are there any other? I think Next Generation's ending was actually really good.
I thought that was a sick ending. 100% agree. That shocked me how good that ending was.
Doing this time travel thing, like they introduce a new idea. It's a very interesting episode, and it's standalone. It gives you a little bit of taste of the future. It gives you closure in the present, and it sets up for this potential spin-off series. It hits every fucking mark. I think that
was good.
Maybe my favorite. Maybe my favorite.
That's probably my favorite because I haven't watched all of 6 Feet Under. That's definitely on my list, though. Which I've watched enough of that show to say that it is very good.
It's good.
If you guys haven't watched it out there.
6 Feet Under is slow, but it's good. It's one of the first HBO shows I ever watched and was like, oh, damn.
Same.
Oh, damn. If you like that actor that plays Dexter, I always forget his name.
Michael C. Hall?
Michael C. Hall. That's it. If you like Michael C. Hall, dude, 6 Feet Under is just Michael C. Hall developing a character for 6 seasons. It is top tier. Top tier, especially if you like a little homoerotic action. He plays a homosexual. in 6 Feet Under, so it gets a little hot, a little steamy. It's pretty good. Pretty good. I know my audience.
Don't have that steamy of sex, apparently.
I know my audience. Come on. It's good. No, really, 6 Feet Under. I love the actor that plays Nate, too. I don't know what his name is, but I loved that character, the way it's portrayed. A very real person.
Yes, that's the boyfriend, right?
That's the brother.
Which one's Nate?
That's the brother.
Oh, yeah.
The blonde brother, the health nut. Did not like Brenda.
That show like 5 or 6 years.
Did not like Brenda. That's Nate's girlfriend. I thought Brenda was a very weird. Maybe she's so real and that's why it bugged me. But I did. Oh God, there's that scene when she bangs the 2 dudes that are just walking by on the sidewalk. Oh, I'll never forget that, dude. And it's so fucking gritty and rough and just like, fuck. I wish I didn't see that. It's like the ending to Requiem for a Dream. You ever see that movie?
No.
It's a great movie, but fuck is it brutal, dude. That ending scene, just like the Eyes Wide Shut party, it stuck with me for days. I was like one of the most horrifying things I'd ever seen on cinema, where I was just like, I wish I didn't watch that. I was dreaming about it. And maybe that's the sign of a good movie, that it sticks with you like that, but fuck, it was scarring. Felt like I saw shit I couldn't unsee, man.
All right, I'm good.
And on that note,
yes.
Okay, cool. So I'm going to the mountains for a week, so I'm going to disappear. So let me know when you want to podcast.
You are?
Again, bud.
Again?
Well, what do you mean again? I went on that
ski trip. On a ski trip.
Yeah, well, this isn't a ski trip. This is just a little getaway. It's partial work vacation, trying to finish this draft of the book. I edited 3,000 words yesterday, my biggest single day ever. So trying to repeat some of that energy. And 1 year anniversary for the relationship coming up. So we're doing a little mountain getaway.
Oh. Hitting the Poconos.
Hitting the Poconos, exactly. More like the Rockies, but I hear you, man. I hear you. Turns out it's pretty cheap to vacation in the mountains off season. So all the ski slopes are closed. So all those Airbnbs are cheap, dude. All right. Well, we're out of here.
So when are you back? Because that's when we'll podcast about the major and the minor quals. We'll do some Dota.
Maybe we should just plan on Monday again. I think I'm back Sunday night.
All right.
So we'll tentatively plan Monday, dude. We'll keep
maybe Tuesday if you haven't watched any of the minors.
Maybe Tuesday, but that's a good point. We'll see. I'm taking one of the widescreen monitors with me to work on, so I'll try to keep a Twitch stream open. I'll do what I can. But you guys know where to find this thing, the Moonduck YouTube, Zyori.tv for the audio. We will see you next time. Thank you for enjoying this special episode. We will be back with Dota talk on the next episode of the Trent Zyori podcast.